Thank you so much. Um, as our MCs for the day said, we could not have had a better person to speak about the politics of language. As a person who has addressed language in all forms, as a poet, as a journalist, as a politician. And then there is also her name, Kanimozhi, which means the sweet-spoken one. So I'm just flipping the topic around for the first question, ma'am. Language of politics. You have, before you were a politician, you've had a ringside view of politics because of Kalaignar and the DMK movement and so on. Do you see a change in the language of politics? Has it become, for example, Kalaignar was known for his rhetoric, his debate in the assembly and so on, for his choice of words and so on. Very apt to the occasion, but not hurtful. Do you think that that sort of language has changed over time in Indian politics?
See, two things. One, change has to come. You cannot speak the same language because the concerns of people, the way people use a language and how people relate to a language, everything changes with time. So we cannot expect people to have the same style of way of speaking and the way the Dravidian politics in Tamil Nadu, it was a very, on platforms when they were speakers, the language was very grand and very decorated. So as time passes, people, even my father, who in his later years, he became more, straight to the point. So that style changes. But one thing I've also noticed is that, yes, in Parliament, I've been there for quite a long time, I think, and sadly, the space for debate, the quality of debates, and the importance of debating anything in Parliament has been reduced. So I think that way it is a very sad thing. Even question hours, which were very seriously taken, a few years ago, because that was when the government was accountable to the member of parliaments and their public representatives, where you could directly question the government. That is not taken seriously, and debates are, bills have to be passed because they have a majority. So debates do not get the same kind of importance, or whatever is said during the debates do not get the same kind of importance. So I think that way, yes, that is a very sad thing.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, two little bit more harder questions. Recently, the CBSE, the other day there was a report that the CBSE will now currently look at English as a foreign language from 2026-27 onwards. This means that students who appear in class 10 in the central board will have to now write 3 languages in the final exam and so on. As Tamil Nadu has always got a 2-language policy, how do you see this treatment of English as a foreign language?
See, Anna, during one of his speeches, said that when people said that you have to learn your mother tongue to converse with your state and people around you, learn Hindi to talk to the rest of India, and learn English to talk to the world. He said if a dog has to enter through a door, you don't need a smaller door to enter and a bigger door. If you just open that door, you can, same way, if you learn English, you can talk to the world, you can talk to the rest of the country, and your mother tongue, your language is something which holds your identity, which determines who you are. It is your history. It's very close to your heart. So, learning one more language which is not natural to us, is another burden on a child. So, to be very practical, if you're going to learn 3 languages in school, your mother tongue, Hindi, and English, or whatever other language they choose to teach, a child ends up learning 3 hours of just languages. Just before this session, we were having Cecil and others talking about AI and how important the child in school has to upgrade themselves. So when you have to learn science, maths, and so many other things, and everything is changing today. History is changing, geography is growing, science is changing, technology is changing. What your parents learned, it's all outdated now. Today they have to learn something completely new, and they don't have enough support at home also. So in this time and age, forcing a child, and not every child, is interested or is equipped to learn 3 languages or 5 languages. There are some children who can learn 10 languages or 5 languages. They just have that talent in them. But for another child who has to learn so many other subjects and has to invest in this, and of course, I think sports is very important. We all agree that children have to spend time learning some sport, playing, and other arts and crafts. Everything, learning has to be holistic. So spending time only learning just another language, that itself takes away a lot of the child's time, which is very precious for them. And why do you have to, if learning English actually opens up the whole world to you. It's easier to do research, it's easier to, interact with people outside the country. And how many of us, like so many people in the audience also are not going to be, are not here. We have more than nearly 3.5 crore Indians working abroad, living abroad. Our students, many of them, lakhs of them go abroad to study. How does Hindi help them? Hindi alone help them? And learning Hindi doesn't find you employment. It is learning another language, it's another skill. But that doesn't ensure that you become better, in the market, and your opportunities of employment double. Unless you're in certain industries, maybe in hospitality or something like that. And forcing a student to learn another language which they are not comfortable in is actually robbing them of their identity. So I really think I can even say Hindi or any other language is a foreign language to me. I know Tamil. English is also a foreign language to me. And Hindi is also a foreign language to me, because I did not grow up in an atmosphere where people spoke anything else. So why should I be forced to learn a language which I'm not comfortable learning?
No, I understand. Thank you for that. But because both Hindi and both Hindi and English are official languages of the Union, do you see this as a certain politics in it when you look at English as a foreign language? In the sense that are we moving towards? Is it moving towards focusing entirely towards a single language push? Because when it is granted that both languages are official language of the Union, and I think in Tamil we refer to the government in Delhi as the Union government and not the central government, for a specific reason,
yes.
Because of Union of States. So in that sense, do you see this as a larger politics behind this than a simple,
Yeah, definitely. It's much more than just learning another language. It is imposing your will on people. So we cannot see it as integrating India, or we knitting it together through a language. It is not that. It is like taking away the identity of many people. many languages are actually like Rajasthani or Bhojpuri, and many languages are classified under Hindi. And many languages like Rajasthani, crores of people speak it. Even Lambadi, more than 1.27 crore people speak it. And it's classified under Hindi. Slowly, those languages are not anymore in existence after a point. We have lost so many languages because one language is imposed in that region on those people. And when you take away their identity and you replace it with another identity, that means you're replacing it with another thought, another history, another language, another culture. You're just taking away who those people are. And it becomes very easy for people who are doing this to impose their politics and their power over those people. So I think basically imposing a language is actually imposing power. That is all it is.
You know, you had referred to these different languages, and I think Chief Minister Mr. Stalin also said that, Hindi had in that way crushed many of the local languages that they are. And they said that it is also a question of nurturing a language, and we have Tamil and the literature and everything else associated to it because we have nurtured it over time, you said. And how easy or difficult it is to nurture your own language for you as a poet, and I know Tamil has a little more of a global platform because, in Malaysia and Singapore and every other place of the world, there are so many people who still read and write Tamil even after being there for many years. But there are also migrant communities in many of the Pacific Islands who have gone from central India and all that and have lost. So in this largely global setting, how do you see the difficulty in nurturing your own language when, other languages are coming into force? I'm asking this because earlier in the day, Mr. Anbil Mahesh Poyamari was a guest here. And he said there is a budgetary difference in what is being given to Sanskrit, for example, and what is being given to Tamil. Despite fewer number of
2,500 crores is being given to promote Sanskrit, which I think around 25,000 people, I'm not sure if really 25,000 people speak it, but they say and claim that 25,000 people speak it. And Tamil gets around 113 crores.
So, yeah. So how that is from the center, but as you said, you grew up in a setting where Tamil was the primary language and nobody else spoke anything else. So how difficult or easy is it for you in this current setting to promote Tamil or to hold Tamil closer? I mean, this is something that the younger generation also, I should be asking it to them as well. But as a politician, you interact with people of different ages. How do you see it?
Actually, in one way, I like to thank the union government because they're doing a lot to, make sure that the younger generation learns Tamil or their regional languages. Because the more you impose something, then, you hold on to your identity tighter. I think a lot of the younger generation started finding out who Periyar was because they've seen statues of old man sitting there and, suddenly, things are thrown on him and people try to insult him and then there's saffron color, painted onto the statues. Then they suddenly sat up and said, what is he? After so 100 years, why is he so important still? So you see in UP when people are agitating, they're holding posters of Periyar. So I think they took Periyar, nationally and to the entire world. Same way, when I see younger generation, people who never, I've seen young students who did not discuss language or did not feel so disturbed when, when their language was taken away from them. Or they did not feel, so intense about their language. Today I see them, coming back with a vigor to learn it, coming back with, a sensitivity which has not been there before, a few years ago. So I think the more you try to actually force people to, do something, then there is a backlash. So they make it easier. And of course, people realize, I think all over the world, that without your language, that is your root. You cannot go back to your roots. You cannot find out who you are. You cannot understand, what kind of lives your grandparents lived, what their pains were, what their struggles were. Language is your key vehicle to go back to the past to understand that. I think people are understanding that.
Thank you. You grew up in a language setting that most people don't have access to, because, from the family background, Kalaignar was not only a politician, but also a writer, a journalist, and so on. How much has that influenced you in terms of your language and your expression and your fight to keep this alive?
I should say I grew up in a house where, we were surrounded by books, and a father who, had no problem. Of course, my mother was very upset with me when I used to sit and read a book before an exam, which is nothing to do with my textbooks or my exam. But my father was always very proud. He was very encouraging, and I had a father who I could share what I was reading with, and we used to argue about it, fight, debate, and I think that way I was very lucky. And I was also, like, we used to go to listen to Kaviyarangams and Karutharangams, which are not the same anymore now. So I grew up where people celebrated the language, and there was a love for the word, written word or the spoken word, and the respect for the word, the written, the language, just not only Tamil. Any language and the power of the language was always celebrated. So that way, I think the place where I grew up has actually made me a person who respects just not Tamil, but any language, any kind of writing, and also to respect a language, to respect the struggle of people who want to protect their language and identity.
Thank you for that. Next question is about the people who are vouching for a 3-language formula against Tamil Nadu, which has always had a 2-language formula. They say that, this is something that was suggested earlier. This is not something that we are suggesting now. If you don't have a 3-language formula, you're essentially taking away employment from your people. You're taking away their right to communicate with a larger group of people, and so on. Those are their arguments. So then, what is your personal argument for a 2-language setting, that was it?
Okay, let me ask you a question.
Yes,
Will you, if I had applied to the week,
Yes, ma'am.
would you reject me because I don't know Hindi?
No, ma'am, certainly.
I like to ask Sundar, would you reject us do you know Hindi? Would you reject anybody in your company? So I don't think it really makes, somebody more employable, and it reduces their opportunities. I don't think that's the truth.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay.
And one more,
Of course, yeah, vibe coding.
and
Of
one
course,
more
of course,
thing
of course.
with the, you know, AI and, there are so many apps where it translates for you in real time and you don't have to learn Hindi or anything. You can go to any part of the world and it translates. You can have a conversation. You know, you just speak into the app and it translates into whatever language. So why would that become a hurdle?
Last question to you. Um, Me holding on to my identity, my language, my culture, that is being seen as divisive. That you are holding out against you not wanting to be to a part of a larger whole. Uh, how valid is that argument? Do you think that is valid? It's a question because we are seen as, if you don't buy into the larger argument, into the larger majority, let's say majority for lack of a better word, you are being divisive. While the other argument where you say is that it is not divisive, it is diversity. That would be my last question to you. How do you see it, and what is your argument for diversity?
See, holding on to my identity teaches me to respect everybody else. We all have our houses, we have homes. I respect my house. I feel very close and comfortable in my house. And it is mine. I hold on to my house emotionally and physically. I hold on to it. But doesn't mean that I'm saying I'm not part of society. I cannot live or operate or do anything without society. So I am a person who belongs to my house, my street, my state, and same way I can belong to this country and the world. So I don't think how holding on to my language or identity, if only when I understand my identity can I understand you. If I don't know who I am, if I am lost, how will I even be able to recognize who you are?
Thank you. That's very poetically put. I think we've run out of time. So, Chennai, if it's not too much to ask, can I ask you to put your hands together for Ms. Kanimozhi Karunanidhi?
Thank you. It was a pleasure talking.